Blackout in Ukraine. Real life behind. At least 10 million people in Ukraine were experiencing rolling blackouts. Russia continued to bombard the nation and its electricity infrastructure. The eastern regions of Luhansk and Donetsk continued to see intense conflict throughout the nation. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We'll discuss this in today's video. Blackout in Ukraine, real life behind. And stay tuned till the end of the video for some other exciting questions, like what happened when Russia strikes the Ukraine? What crises people will face during the attacks? Authorities said they were attempting to restore power nationwide after Russia launched what Ukraine claimed was the biggest assault on the civilian infrastructure of the 9-month-old war, with the capital Kyiv experiencing its first winter snowflakes. In a nation with a pre-war population of roughly 44 million, President Volodymyr Zelensky stated in a Thursday night video that about 10 million people lack access to electricity. He said that certain local governments imposed emergency blackouts. The Russian Defense Ministry reported on Friday that its forces had attacked industrial and defense targets on Thursday, including missile manufacturing sites. According to the Ukrainian military, on the last day, Ukrainian forces shot down 5 air-launched missiles, 5 Iranian Shahed 136 drones, and 2 Russian cruise missiles. Reuters was unable to confirm reports from the battlefield. The lack of water and electricity in Ukraine this winter has prompted a warning from the UN. Valdis Dombrovskis, one of the 3 vice presidents of the European Commission, arrived in Kyiv on Friday to discuss urgent financial assistance from the EU for Ukraine in the coming months. Pope Francis reaffirmed that the Vatican was prepared to take any necessary action to assist in putting an end to the violence. He told the Italian newspaper La Stampa that we all need to be pacifists, desiring peace, not merely a pause that might simply be used to rearm. Real serenity, which comes through communication. Tormentor's chamber. Investigators have found 63 bodies with signs of torture after Russian soldiers withdrew from sections of the Kherson region that Ukraine regained in a counter-offensive last week, the country's interior minister was cited as saying. Dmytro Lubinets, the Human Rights Commissioner for the Ukrainian parliament, published a video of what he claimed to be a torture chamber used by Russian forces in the Kherson region. The video included a small room where he claimed up to 25 individuals may be held at once. The assertion stated by Lubinets and others in the film, including the use of electric shocks to obtain confessions, could not be independently verified by Reuters. Russia denies that its soldiers have committed atrocities or intentionally attacked civilians. Mass graveyards were discovered in other regions that Russian troops had previously occupied, some of which contained victims of torture whose bodies were buried there. In the early hours of Friday, a Reuters witness heard explosions in the heart of Kherson and observed black smoke rising from behind structures. Police closed the entrance, but hundreds of people waiting in line for humanitarian aid in the main square did not appear alarmed by the disturbance. On Thursday, the square was a frantic jumble of lines for humanitarian goods and patriotic displays as locals celebrated their freedom from months of Russian rule. Still, the atmosphere was also one of great uncertainty. We're okay, but we have no idea what to anticipate. There is still work to do. The Russian forces are amassing on that river's east bank. They've gathered over there. We are in the center, Ihor, a 48-year-old unemployed builder, stated. Before withdrawing last week, Russian forces plundered the Kherson area, according to the deputy head of Ukraine's presidential administration. One thing became evident after seeing the Kherson region. Our people there require a lot of assistance. The Russians looted every city and town in addition to killing and mining. On the messaging service Telegram, Kirilo Timoshenko said nothing is there. In order to fortify its positions in the eastern Donetsk and Luhansk regions, Russia has moved some troops from Kherson. The military of Ukraine claimed that, among other places, Russian forces had fired artillery on the Donetsk area towns of Bakhmut and adjacent Soledar. The statement claims that Russian fire also hit a town in the northeastern Kharkiv region Balaklia that Ukraine recovered in September, and Nikopol, a city situated on the other bank of the Kakhovka Reservoir from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power complex. Crisis. Relationships between Russia with the United States and other Western allies are in a severe crisis due to the Ukraine conflict. The director of the CIA, William Burns, cautioned during talks in the Turkish capital Ankara about the repercussions for Moscow of any use of nuclear weapons. Since the invasion of Ukraine, this was the first known high-level face-to-face interaction between the United States and Russia. Tayyip Erdogan, the president of Turkey, said in a phone conversation with Vladimir Putin on Friday that the Ankara negotiations had managed to stop an uncontrolled escalation of the situation. Erdogan urged further diplomatic action to put an end to the conflict. The deputy foreign minister of Russia said Moscow had not ruled out holding additional high-level talks with the US on strategic stability, a term used to denote lowering the chance of nuclear conflict. However, Ryabkov added that there was nothing to discuss with Washington over Ukraine. According to Dmitry Peskov, a spokesperson for the Kremlin, a meeting between US President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin was out of the question at the time. Separately, Ryabkov was cited by Interfax on Friday as having stated that Russia sought to execute a prisoner swap with the United States involving Viktor Bout, the Merchant of Death, a convicted Russian arms dealer. Russia and the United States, during the worst conflict in Europe since World War II, are discussing a prisoner swap in which Bout would be exchanged for the release of other prisoners, notably basketball player Brittany Griner. So this is it for today's video. Well, what are your thoughts on the Russia-Ukraine never-ending war? Will things ever get back to normal? Let us know in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.